Welcome. And madam also came? No. Nice to see you. You want to take
I welcome you all to this important event that is going to take place very soon. Something memorable in the history of this university, that is Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University of Lucknow, a central university. As far as I know, the university started with the name Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University in 1989, and the then Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, he inaugurated that moment. And afterwards, in 1996, this university was given the designation of a central university, and since then it is known as Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University. To be with us, I just give you the few names. Mr. Amit Roy, Director, IUAC New Delhi, is going to be there with us. Professor R. University, Gujarat, he is there with us. Professor L. Chaturvedi, VC Guru Ghasida Vishwavidyalaya, he is going to be there with us. Professor M.M. Saluke, VC Central University, Rajasthan. Professor N.S. Gajbheye, VC Central University, Sagar. Professor Arun Sawant, former VC Rajasthan University, Jaipur. Dr. R.K. Chauhan, VC Global Open University, and let me tell you, he is mathematics and Department of Applied Statistics and School for Management Studies, which has Department of Rural Management. And shows us that all give them a big hand, a warm welcome to all of them.
He is the director of
And now, I invite the organizing secretary, the chief guest, the guest of honor, and the president of the session to the dais. So, please take your seats. I also invite the registrar, Mr. Singh, to please come to the dais and to take his seat. Session to make a floral tribute to the image of Baba Saheb, the photograph that is here, so that we may begin this inaugural session. As far as Baba Saheb is concerned, we will have to admit that there was a boy, an untraveled bird. All experience is an art to strive, to seek, to find, but not to keep. The modern society that is being shaped today, it is based on the principles of Baba Saheb. In the great men, and then our guests are also as sacred to us. So for lighting the lamp that is there, our chief guest is there. मगर दीप की दीप्ति से सिर्फ जग में नहीं मिट सकेगा धरा का अंधेरा, उतर क्यों न आए नखत सब गगन के, नहीं कर सकेंगे हृदय में उजेरा, मिटेगी तभी ये अंधेरी गिरी जब स्वयं धर्म मनुज दीप कारमुख आए, जलाओ दिए पर रहे ध्यान इतना, अंधेरा धरा पर कहीं रह न जाए. So this lamp that is being lighted, in the words of Mahakavi Neeraj, all of us, we have to be just like Deep, Atma Deepo Bhav, and we have to work for the development and the upliftment of each and every human being whosoever is born on this earth. Only then the dream of social justice, the dream of peace, the dais who are as sacred to us as God's Aditi Devo Bhav and His honorable member Rati offering the flowers to the chief guest, Professor Jadhav, who has spared his valuable time for us for this inaugural session. To present a bouquet of flowers to our guest of honor, who is again a very prominent figure. He is Major General Dr. J.K. Bansal, Honorable Member of National Disaster Management Authority. He is there with us. Please give him a big hand. Upasana Chaudhary. I invite Rajani to offer a bouquet of flowers to the President of the session, and he is our beloved Honorable Vice Chancellor, BBAO, Professor Sonkawade. I invite Monica Singh to offer a bouquet of flowers to Professor Sonkawade, the Dean, as well as the Organizing Secretary of this conference. I invite Surinder Kaur to offer a bouquet of flowers to C.S.K. Singh, the registrar of this university. And with this, are here on the dais as well as
couple of them are Professor R.K. Kale, who is the Vice Chancellor at Central University, Gujarat. We welcome you, sir. Professor Arun Sawant, former Vice Chancellor, University of Rajasthan. We welcome you, sir. Professor Radhakrishna, Director. We welcome you, sir. On this occasion, the delegates who are participating in this event from the United States of America, Poland, Russia, Germany, Nigeria. On the behalf of this advisory committee, National Organizing Committee and Scientific Committee, we welcome you all dear delegates. I would like to convey a couple of my things through this conference, how this idea was initiated. Perhaps this could be the first international conference in BBU Lucknow with such an eminent personalities, where we have got so many vice chancellors, directors of various institutes of national importance, such as Dr. R.K. Bhandari Sahab, who is present over here, who is the director at Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, Kolkata. We really welcome you, sir. And a couple of the names are there, though the list is very high. But if I will extend it, will take a lot of time, since chief guest has already hinted me he has to depart also very early. But just two minutes, I'll just complete a couple of the things. Professor D.T. Khating, who is arriving very soon, who is the Vice Chancellor, Central University, Jharkhand. Professor Lakshman Chaturvedi, who is expected at any moment, Vice Chancellor from Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Bilaspur. And Professor Balraj Chavan may be likely to join with us, Vice Chancellor Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, National Law University, Lucknow. Professor R.K. Sharma is likely to join with us. And a couple of these other Vice Chancellors, Professor P.S. Arora, Vice Chancellor, University of Nainital, Kumaon, is also expected in the evening. Let me to say a few words about this international conference, how this idea was started. Though this university was established in the year 1996, but the department, sir, for your information, where we are working, it's called a School for Physical Sciences. I feel proud to say over here, this school was started in the academic year 2010 only. And this Department of Applied Physics also, with a guest faculty, started in the year 2010. And under this school, recruitment was taken place, faculty joined, and the first proper recruitment started in the June 2011. So like this we have started, and within a short period of time, we have got this kind of gathering with limited resources. Sir, this international conference originated from a back, maybe in the year 2000, first event, workshop was organized in the year 2003. That was simple a workshop, one-day workshop, organized at Nuclear Science Center. The commission, who is the source of inspiration for me, he was always used to stand with me. With his idea we started. Then we conducted the last conference, that was the national conference, where Honorable Dr. APJ Kalam Sahab, former President of India, inaugurated it. In that event, there were again 450 participants, though it was a national event. At this time, this is an international conference which has brought by us, by our school, under the guidance of Professor B. Hanumaya, who always motivated us, and under his chairpersonship, we brought this event. And I hope this event will give a fruit. Honorable Guest of Honor Bansal Sahab, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sahab, and Mr. Registrar Sri S.K. Singh Ji.
National Disaster Management Authority is not only the honorable member, but he has served in Army Medical Corps and Defense Research and Development Organization. He is a doctor with specialization in thyroid diseases. He is a Disaster Medical Management Center, Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. He established NBC Mitigation Division and NBC Training Center at Defense Research and Development Establishment. He has been there at Gwalior as well. There is something very informative about the fact that he underwent extensive professional training in nuclear, biological, chemical mitigation and environmental health in Austria, Canada, Japan, Sweden, Holland, and Russia. He is the man who attended 5th International Basic Course on CW Assistance and Protection conducted by Serbian Armed Forces and gained the practical experience, and therefore he updated himself about nuclear disaster management. He is the man who has delivered many invited talks and given demonstrations during various NBC training courses. He has presented Indian perspective on bioterrorism prevention and response during Interpol workshop. His contribution is worth mentioning during tsunami in Gujarat earthquake and Orissa super cyclone. The government of India was happy to confer upon him the Vishisht Seva Medal, and Delhi Medical Association awarded Chikitsa Ratna for his outstanding contribution in training medical doctors for CBR and disaster casualties management. He has represented India in OPCW Conference on International Cooperation and Chemical Safety and Security in Netherlands as well. So a man who's a doctor but who is burning his midnight lamp just for the disaster management, finding out ways and means to inform the people, to train the people. We can simply say, हौसलों की बात आई है तो सिर्फ सुन लीजिए, सिर्फ मेरे नाम से बदले हैं तूफानों के रुख. I most earnestly and sincerely invite the guest of honor for his address.
BBA University, Prof.Sonkawade, organizing secretary of this event, Dr. Mr. Singh, Registrar BBA University, distinguished delegates from abroad and from India, media, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be here on inaugural function of International Conference on Radiation Environment, Detection, Assessment, Measurements and its Impact. At the outset, I would like to place on record my appreciation for Professor Hanumaiya and Professor Sonkawade to choose this topic, which is very relevant and appropriate in the present scenario. You all are aware, in the modern era of industrialization, the use of radioisotope is growing. A radionuclide is used for production of electricity, disinfection of food, sterilization of medical equipment, increasing the yield of agriculture products, and also detection of oil. Not only that, radioisotopes are also used for diagnosis and treatment of disease. Accordingly, this use is increasing, and also the risk hazardous effect of radiation also increasing. There are various scenarios where this radiation hazard could be. It may be an accident in a nuclear power plant. The example is Chernobyl in 1986, and that about 5 million people and European countries were affected. 134 has acute radiation effect and 28 died. Another 8,000 people who were cleaning the area, they were also affected. The cattle grazing in that particular field were affected, having contamination of milk. There was a contamination of meat. So that was the hazardous effect. Similarly, last year in the month of 11th March, precisely I think, there was an accident in Fukushima which was followed by earthquake and tsunami. There will be a radiation rain, people will be impacted, don't come out from your house. We went on television and allayed that apprehension, saying that India is about 6,000 kilometers away from Japan and wind direction is in northeast, so there is no chance. But there was radiation level which was high in Tokyo. It was 30 to 40 times higher than the background radiation. So what we decided that we will do monitoring of the passengers coming from Tokyo. So we did monitoring of radiation, but we did not find any contamination. I would like to tell you here, in 1986, I was in the Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, and the Indian mission people who were there, they are keeping that thing in mind, we did it. So another thing could be the unsafe disposal of a radioactive material or orphan sources, which we call it, as it happens in Mayapuri. You may be knowing, in Mayapuri, the 8 people were admitted, they were exposed. 2 of them were very serious, and 1 we could not save. The National Disaster Management Authority managed those cases. We took help of Armed Forces, Defense Research and Development Organization, All India Institute of Medical Science. I have gone myself over there, and the radiation in rooms, the shop number 32, Deepak Jain's shop, it was there, and when we moved about 10 feet away, there was no radiation. So radiation contamination, even after cleaning and re-cleaning, was done. Another possibility, the scenario could be that radiation material could be used in the form of dirty bomb. And what are the most commonly used agents could be cesium-137, cobalt-60 or strontium-90. A pencil size of things can contaminate. When we talk about the dirty bomb is essentially a conventional bomb packaged with a radioactive material. It should not be confused with a nuclear bomb. A nuclear bomb has got increased yield of heat and blast because of fission and fusion reaction. There's the tremendous enhancement. While the heat will be inhaled, it will contaminate water, it will contaminate food products. There will be a kind of panic, exodus of the people from that particular area will affect economy also. Terrorists can also sabotage a nuclear plant, where they can just do an air crash or something like that. The use of nuclear agents in the form of atomic bomb is very rare in this condition. First time it was used in 1945 in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In Hiroshima there were 136,000 casualties, and in Nagasaki there was another 64,000 casualties, and there was a horrendous effect of this particular, I think because of International Atomic Energy Agency and the UN, the use of atomic bomb is very rare in this circumstances. What is other thing is that the background natural radiation. In US, specifically in Iowa, there is a radon, the gas which is natural gas, but due to decay of uranium, and that causes increased level. And I think the level is 8 to 10 times high. The cases of cancer, specifically lung cancer, has been detected over there. Kerala is also having a little high background. Jaduguda is one place. And I recently visited Jammu and Kashmir, and somebody, a medical doctor, informed me from the nuclear medicine department that incidence of cancer of thyroid are high in the valley. It may be because of increased radiation. I told him that yes, you write to us, we will do radiation monitoring, whether there is really a cause or not, or whether there is a radiation or not, that has to be seen. So, whatever may be the scenario, the tremendous potential to cause harm by nuclear agent, which is called enormous devastation to human being, flora, fauna, environment, including water, soil, and air. Therefore, it has to be seen and that preparedness are made. Now, what are the effects of radiation? Simply, of course, you all are mostly radiation experts, but it may have acute effect. If radiation is less than 200 rads, then it may be just subclinical, will have long-term effect in the form of cancer, cataract, premature age, genetic damage, etc. But if radiation is more than 200 rads, between 200 to 500 rads, it will cause damage to bone marrow, causing acute hematopoietic syndrome, where our blood cells are down, and then one is likely to be affected, and and causing infection. What happens in Mayapuri radiation cases, the person who died, Rajendra was his name, his blood count dropped to 500. Normally it should not be less than 4,000. 4,000 to 11,000 we take the normal limit. If exposure is more than between 500 to 2,000, it will cause the intestinal damage, acute gastrointestinal syndrome. If more than 2,000, it will cause instantaneous death due to acute central nervous system syndrome. If a localized exposure to more than 2,000 deaths, it will cause skin burn also. Now, not only that there is an effect on health, it causes a very big psychological impact also. What happens in case of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? A survivor, they had a complete psychological damage in the form. They had impact that they are directly hit by the bomb. Their memory was lost. They lost their decision-making capacity. They were thinking that they are living with that. World has ended. And even they were in a very difficult type of problem. The people who are stranded over there, the near and dear people, whether they should actually rescue them or go away from them. So, if you see, there is a multi-dimensional impact of radiation. Therefore, a multidisciplinary and multi-focal approach is required to handle the situation. National Disaster Management Authority, to which I belong, as constituted in 2005 by the Act of Parliament, that National Disaster Management Act. Honorable Prime Minister is the chairman, we have our vice chairman and members expert in this particular field. So National Disaster Management Authority has laid down guidelines for prevention, mitigation, preparedness and response for the nuclear disaster. We have taken into account all the experts from the country, like Baba Atomic Research Centers, Inter-University Accelerator Center, DRDO, all experts, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Defense, they all have participated in this, and we've laid down the guidelines how to handle this situation. In addition to that, the NDMA is giving a priority for the prevention, the safety of all agents, and during the Mayapuri incidents itself it was handled, and after that, because it was an orphan source, what was thought of, that you can't see, you can't smell, you can't taste radiation. How to detect it? There should be a monitoring agent or sensing agents or sensing equipment. So what we are going to do now, that in the city having a population more than 10 lakhs, there will be radiation detection mobile van, where a radiation sensor will be fitted, and there will be go/no-go sign that in case the radiation level is high, in that particular case, one will come to know that the radiation is high, and accordingly preventive measures have to be taken. While Commonwealth Game was there, some of the countries internationally, they brought out the issue of CBRN protection. The CBRN we call the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, because they are collectively known as weapon of mass destruction. At the same time, mitigation and their preparedness, about 80% facilities are common. So we club them together, and NDMA has done the protection. We have done detection at the entry point. We had 24/7 detection in the venue itself. We have the remote sensing standalone sensors for the biological and chemical agents, where up to 5 kilometers one can sense that. At the same time, we have the limb detectors for any radiation material going in any of the vehicle. Not only that, we had prepared and done the gamma survey, where the gamma camera was mounted on helicopter and was surveyed, the atmosphere was surveyed whether there is any kind of radiation is there or not. We have got a CBRN monitoring vehicle also. So it was very good. The team from UK, they visited us. They were very happy and impressed, and they told to the Australian team, and now from our country, that is DRDO and NDMA, they are the advisor or advising for the UK for their Olympic game for the CBRN things. When after Fukushima, Honorable Prime Minister, he had a meeting with NDMA, and the the security and safety of all the nuclear power plant was reviewed, whether there is any lapse. At the same time, a mock drill was conducted over there to see any lapse. When we talk about the mock drill, or when we talk about the preparedness, of course, most of you who are on this nuclear side, they know how the plant is made, what are the various barriers, etc. And what one has to do is that what is the on-site and off-site plan? When something happens, what is there at the site itself to handle it, and what is there in the off-site? That is in the civil administration. So everything was taken care of, and then we saw that yes, it is proper, and we tried to do it. We have conducted training for the doctors, started in Delhi. We have trained about more than 400 doctors in the other part of the country. NDM is assisting all the states for the training, providing expert facilities, equipment for demonstration. At the same time, advising the equipment is to be procured, because without equipment, training is of no use. There's still a lot more to be done. The training has to be done up to all the people. What happens in Fukushima? Even just to send a relief, one has to be an ordinary worker, must know how to protect himself to go in that contaminated environment. We sent a team of NDRF, that is National Disaster Response Force, to Japan. They did a wonderful job for the relief work. And as a matter of fact, this was appreciated by Prime Minister of Japan when he visited India. Similarly, any worker, whether it is a relief worker, it is a state authority, they must know, and they should have the basic knowledge what are the effects of radiation, how to protect themselves, and that needs to be done. Medical facilities need to be created in the hospital, and the hospital need specific things. Now, to barely handle 8 cases, we have to pull resources from Defense Ministry, from NDMA, from All India Institute, but if large number of cases occurs, how can we do? Of course, we created these facilities and the Apex Trauma Center, All India Institute during Commonwealth Games, but in each places, each district level, a hospital is to be identified and earmarked with the facilities for the CBRN disaster management, and specifically nuclear disaster management should be done. What is required to be done? That in the hospital entry itself, there should be a decontamination center or decontamination room. Anybody coming from outside has to be watched whether he is contaminated by nuclear dust or not, and to be decontaminated. The ward should be fitted with CBRN filter. There should be negative pressure, because the people who are there, they are all contaminated, they are emitting radiation, and if that air is going outside, it will contaminate. Similarly, the waste material or bio-waste like urine, sputum, stool, blood of these contaminated patients cannot be discharged into environment, because some of the radioisotopes may have the half-life of maybe ranging from 6 to 30 years. So they have to first treat it, a delayed tank or whatever, maybe the expert knows it, that it has to be discharged before that. At the same time, certain facilities are to be created. Radiobiodosimetry. Radiobiodosimetry is very, very important. A patient comes to us, we must do how much radiation has gone. If it is say 200 to 500, we can treat that. But if a patient is exposed to more than 500, then it is very difficult. He may survive for a week only and only symptomatic treatment. If more than 2,000, he will survive for a day only, a day or two. Then we have to plan accordingly. The radiobiodosimetry has to be done. Not we can have the mobile laboratories, and it has to be done by chromosomal estimation, DNA, leukocyte count, etc. They are the very specialized procedure. Decorporation. What is the decorporation is? What are the radioactive material has gone inside the body through the eyes, nose, ear, or maybe through inhalation, ingestion. They have to be brought out from the body. Otherwise, as I told, and you know it, till the time the half-life is not, they will keep on emitting and causing damage. The removal of radioactive material from the body is known as decorporation. Decorporation agents in the form of PDTA, DTPA, and Persian blue, etc. is to be collected and to be put over there. Similarly, the specialist doctor has to be there. So these facilities need to be created. Ambulance has to be fitted with the CBRN equipment, and there should be protection, detection, decontamination equipment there. What is important is the community awareness also. And the community awareness, all the level, whether it is decision maker or the policy makers or the normal population, they must be aware what the radiation is, how to handle it. In case they are suspected or they come to know that there is a risk or there is a radiation contamination, they must go in the opposite direction to wind, should not eat, smoke or drink in that contaminated area, and should visit the nearest station where it is to be done. So, these all things to do it, a task to complete this task, we all has to work together hard, and we must play a role so that we can rise to the occasion at the time of need. And we say in army or military that if you sweat more during peace, you will bleed less during war. So this conference is an appropriate platform or forum where the expert can discuss, come out with the strategy, how to handle the situation, how to prevent, how to mitigate, how to treat. I will appeal to all of you, please don't keep knowledge to the lectures, to the conferences, to the laboratory, but it should come for the betterment of community and humanity. And there should be integration of all the academia professional, at the same time the people who are working on ground. To invite people from the State Disaster Management Authority, NGO, and some of them are here. We can see Dr. Bhanu, who is actively involved in disaster management. We have got from the State Authority, Mr. Jori, Mr. Dr. Kanwal Kanwar, and some other people, so that whatever knowledge is gained. Now, it may be very difficult to understand for them what is the radiation detection system, how to calibrate what is the radiation doses. But this center here, I visited this place earlier also, and I said, okay, there should be complete integration with the civil authority, that so that the proper guidance, a proper professional knowledge can be transmitted and they can be partnered. Then there is a use of all the universities, all the laboratories, that yes, after all they offer the knowledge, and knowledge has to be implemented. Knowledge should come to, all the expertise knowledge should come to the ground. So I would request and appeal that all of you must have that kind of thing in mind. And at the end of conference, there is a need to
the humanity and the community. Now the most coveted moment has come when we are going to be blessed by the words of our chief guest. But I would like to snatch away a few moments just to introduce him, because here is a man as the chief guest before us who can be a source of inspiration for thousands and thousands of the young people of the country. Dr. Jadhav, who has distinguished himself as a leading educationist and eminent economist, he has been a careful policymaker, reputed social scientist. Since May 2010, he enjoys the privilege of being the member of National Advisory Committee Council, that is NAC, and as member of Planning Commission, he is looking after education, labor employment skill development, sports and youth affairs, social justice and empowerment. He looks after the states of Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Goa, Union Territories, Diu and Daman, and Dadar Nagar Haveli. In 2006, he was appointed as the Vice Chancellor for the first time of the University of Pune, where 650,000 students, they are there. And I was surprised to notice that this man, he made that university as a model state university, and things, they are surprising that nearly 45% of foreign students, they go to the University of Pune. He served RBI for 31 years, took voluntary retirement in 2008 from the position of Principal Advisor and Chief Economist, and he played an important role in policy making macroeconomic crisis in India after 1991. He worked as an advisor also to Executive Director for India at International Monetary Fund for nearly 5 years, and he worked as Chief Economic. Dr. Jadhav was given the title of the Commander of the Order of Academic Palms by the government of France for his contribution to the fields of education, economics, literature, culture, and social welfare. This is not all, friends. He enjoys the reputation of being a prolific writer as well. His family biography, that has been an international bestseller, Untouchables, that has been published from USA. It has been translated into at least 17 languages. And sir, I will be very honest to tell you, that I saw your photograph in the newspapers when you were given the Sahitya Academy Award for your Punjabi version. And recently, such a busy personality, dedicating his day and night to work and work only, he has come up with something else, and that is a trilogy on Rabindranath Tagore that is in Marathi. So all of us, for whom the days are short and we don't know how to manage, here is a man who can tell us, यूं ही बैठा हुआ था गुमसुम सा, यूं ही बैठा हुआ था गुमसुम सा, कोई हमदम न था, तेरे कदमों का फैज है शायद, वरना ये घर मेरा रोशन कब था. Welcome sir, welcome for your address.
Introduction. Actually, my speech is going to be shorter than the introduction that was given to me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Vice Chancellor Mr. Hanumaiya, Major General Dr. J.K. Bansal, Member of National Disaster Management Authority, Professor Sonkawade, who is the Dean and Organizing Secretary of this conference, Shri S.K. Singh, who is the Registrar of this great institution, distinguished guests, many friends, Professor Kade, Professor A.D. Sawan, delegates from all over the world, and friends. It's indeed a great pleasure as well as an honor to be here for this international conference. And I'm truly delighted to be here to inaugurate this conference. First of all, this university bears the name of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who has been my hero all the time. So it gives me a very special pleasure to be here in this great institution to inaugurate this international seminar on radiation environment, assessment, measurement, and its impact. Well, friends, I'm no expert in radiation, and my knowledge about nuclear radiation is actually I have a nano knowledge of this field, but I'm still here because this conference, I believe, is very, very important on a subject of a great contemporary relevance. And when I was listening to Dr. Bansal, he is, like all of you, he is a great expert in this area, and I was amazed, and I learned so much from the intellectual radiance that was given by Dr. Bansal, Major General Dr. J.K. Bansal, and that made me even happier to say that I'm glad to be here. Well, friends, at the very outset, I would like to congratulate my friend Vice Chancellor Hanumaiya and his team, particularly Professor Sonkawade, who has been the moving spirit behind this conference. I think this is a conference which is very timely, very relevant, and on a subject of a great contemporary relevance. Friends, we all know that everybody is exposed to radiation, a little bit less, a little bit more, but nobody is free from this exposure to radiation. And as all of you are well aware today, and as Major General Dr. Bansal was telling us, today the nuclear energy, radiation and radioactive materials are widely used for many applications in agriculture, in industry, in medicine, both diagnostics and therapeutic, non-destructive testing, besides is used in electricity generation. Just like electricity, radiation, nuclear radiation in particular, is something like electricity. If it can be handled safely, it can be an extremely helpful tool. We economists, when we talk about the market, we say that market is a very, very good slave, but it's terrible if market becomes the master. The same thing, I think, applies to a tool like nuclear radiation. As long as you have enslaved the tool, societal benefits are enormous. But if you allow this tool to master you, then these consequences can be disastrous. And therefore, it is necessary, as Dr. Bansal was also saying, it is necessary to educate the public about radiation, and it's very, very important to educate the people about general public about the radiation. It is the scientists, like all of you, whose responsibility is to disseminate the right type of information to the public and educate them on the various aspects of the use of radiation and radioactive materials and the safety norms which they should follow in the radiation environment. With the realization of the deleterious effects of the use of fossil fuels, which all of us now know contributes or aggravates to the global warming, nuclear energy is now considered as a benign source. Nuclear radiation and atomic energy, when used with the right level of wisdom and awareness, is a potential friend of human beings. Perhaps it is generally not recognized, and I'm told, I don't know whether factually it is correct, but I'm told that radiation has actually cured more cancer incidences than those which were created by atomic energy by human beings for the destructive purpose. So the beneficial effects of radiation today far outweigh the adverse effect, but there is no room for complacency. The people's fear against atomic energy is perhaps accentuated by the history of the wrong use of this major instrument. We all remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 and Chernobyl more recently, and many other incidents, and that is why it is necessary to educate people, to create awareness about nuclear radiation and materials, both. And this must happen both through the educational institutions as well as in the general public. Otherwise, in absence of public dissemination about the right kind of information and the positive and the negative side of using nuclear radiation, the people can either become too scared because of the historical background that we have, and either they can become too scared or they can become too complacent. Either of them, either extreme, is extremely undesirable. There is no need to be too much scared about it, nor should you be completely complacent about the adverse effect. And that is where this particular conference is seen as a very timely contribution to wider dissemination of the right kind of information, the positive and negative aspects of the nuclear radiation. Recent radiation incidents that happened in Fukushima, and a reference was made by Dr. Bansal about Fukushima in Japan, and even in our country, in Mayapur in Delhi, they also clearly emphasize that the general public must be aware of the basic facts of radiation and the radioactive materials. Large number of machines which are used in the diagnosis and in the treatment of cancer diseases in the hospital. Safety of patients and nursing staff is also extremely important in avoiding unnecessary radiation exposures. Even the patient's relatives need to be aware of this, since the patient will have inside his or her body these isotopes as a result of nuclear medical investigations, and it may be a source of exposure to others outside the hospital for a considerable period of time. This again underscores the need to educate the public on the safety aspects of radiation. This conference, friends, has a great relevance, great contemporary relevance, as I said, because it brings together a lot of people, experts from all over the world, to discuss various facets, different aspects of this very important subject. This conference, I believe, will enable the scientists who have assembled here to study radiation, its effects, protection philosophy, and focus on the developments taking place not only in our country but all over the world. I'm happy to learn, and I'm very, very happy to learn that participants to this international conference include foreign delegates from several countries, and some of them were named: US, Russia, Europe, Nigeria, and several other countries. The faculties of the Indian universities, research scholars and scientists from the Department of Atomic Energy Commission, Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, experts experts from the National Disaster Management Authority, and we just heard from some of those experts on a single platform, and this, I believe, is an amazing achievement, and for that I once again commend the university authorities for having done that. We also know that last night, after the disaster struck in Indonesia, there was a problem here, and the pendol which was constructed was blown out, and they worked very hard in the morning, early hours of the morning, to put it all together. And this again shows the kind of expertise that this team has in disaster management. They have demonstrated that they have that. And I'm very, very happy to see that, and my special congratulations to them. It is overwhelming to see such a mega event at Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow. I'm sure that the delegates will share their views and come up with some great, and April 2012, we have begun the period for the 12th 5-year plan, and right now we are focused on the 12th 5-year plan, the documents of which are being prepared in the next 2 or 3 months. Those documents will be out, the 4 volumes that we create for the planning document. Let me say this, that in the 12th 5-year plan, there is a lot of emphasis going to be there on science and technology. Some of you might have read that recently the Honorable Prime Minister has, in one of his speeches, underscored the importance of research and development, and he has also indicated that in the 12th plan, the percentage of spending on research and development is going to increase, is going to take a quantum leap during the 5-year plan that has just started. So there are things which are moving in the direction of recognizing the due importance of science and technology at a large, and it is in that overall context, I think, this university has done extremely well by organizing this particular international seminar on a subject of a very great contemporary relevance. I do hope that this conference will be cherished as having surpassed all its goals and as a beacon inspiring other conferences all around. Our living, friends, has significantly improved because of the radiation science. We are living with the radiation sources around us, about which we need to be extremely careful, and I do hope, and in fact I'm going to say that I'm sure that this particular international conference will serve as a platform where we can all live as more learned souls to serve the nation even more effectively than before. With these words, I announce that this international conference on radiation environment assessment, measurement and impact is hereby inaugurated. I wish the deliberations of this international conference all the best. My best wishes to all the participants for success in their research missions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. When we are going to have the presidential address, and we have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Hanumaya from Baba Saheb Ambedkar Central University. In 2001, he became the VC of Mangalore University for the first time, and now he is here with us as our patron and guide. He completed his research from Moscow State University, Moscow, and he joined PG Department of Physics in Karnataka University, Dharwad. He is having more than 67 papers that have been published in national and international journals, and he has been a research guide as well. He is the chairman as well as the member of different and several committees that are of national and international repute. I invite Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Hanumaya for his presidential address.
Respected Chief Guest, Professor Narendra Jadhav, Member of Planning Commission, Government of India, respected Major General Dr. J.K. Bansal, Member National Disaster Management Authority, Government of India, Professor Sonkawade, the coordinator of this seminar, Sri S.K. Singh, Registrar of our University, distinguished Vice Chancellors from Central and State Universities, Directors representing various Central and State governments, respected delegates who came from far-off places, experts from foreign countries, researchers, invitees from various central institutions, students, teachers' friends, non-teaching staff, media person, ladies and gentlemen. When Professor Sonkawade approached me with a request to arrange international conference in our university, I was a little perturbed. It is only because the university is just picking up its developmental activities, enough facilities were not available. How to manage this? Then Professor Sonkawade and his friends encouraged me to take up and venture into arranging this conference. Hence, we are all here. This conference has been arranged on the topic radiation environment, assessment, measurement, and its impact. This topic has been particularly selected because the radiation, particularly the nuclear radiation, and its use, measurement, and its effects on environment is picking up lot of attention in the world. So we thought that since the physics department has been started functioning in our university since 2 years, why can't we initiate this? This is a good opportunity for inviting various experts from different places, not only within the country, even from outside as well, so that they can share their expertise, exchange their views, and this information be made available not only to the experts working in the field, but also to the public and others for their knowledge. That is why this international conference has been arranged. Friends, already the Honorable Major General Dr. J.K. Bansal has briefed the importance of nuclear radiation. I am not going to repeat anything here, but we know on one side nuclear radiation is a part of our life without which we cannot survive. Application of nuclear radiation is very vast. There is no field left without the use of nuclear radiation. At different level, nuclear radiation is being used. Industry, agriculture, medicine, name anything, everywhere this nuclear radiation is used. For a moment you imagine that it has been totally stopped. How our life will be? There will not be agricultural progress, there will not be an industrial progress, even medical field, which is very much required for us, we cannot imagine without the use of nuclear radiation. Every one of us are being exposed to radiation, natural as well as man-made radiation, but within the limitations. Remember, exposing ourselves to the nuclear radiation within a limited level also helps us to increase our health. That is happening. Without going deep into it, I am very happy that this conference is concentrating on this. The main objective is to educate the students and also the public in general about the use and application of nuclear radiation. Medical department to train them to use and operate the nuclear radioactive source. I was very much impressed by his approach. I said, yes, it is possible. Let us make a humble beginning to create this facility, which he has readily agreed, and also agreed to help the university in a bigger way to take up this task of training these people to get themselves ready to manage the disasters whenever possible. So I am sure and request Honorable Major General J.K. Bansal to come out with a big proposal and help our university to take up this task. And sir, I assure you that our university and experts available in the university are ready to do whatever possible, not only training themselves, at the same time try to educate whomsoever you want, calling from within Lucknow or even outside. In the Planning Commission, looking after the education section, Sports and Authority and other sections as well. Sir, I want to appeal to you to help us to take up these tasks as much as possible from your side. I am sure you, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, is an hero to you, as he mentioned. And I am sure he will not allow my university to suffer for want of sufficient fund. The university has started its humble beginning. Under 11th plan period, whatever fund sanctioned to my university has been spent 1 year in advance. All recruitments have been completed and all the recruited teachers have reported. And more than 100 crore has been sanctioned to my university to initiate and take up the infrastructure development, which is very much required for expansion of education, which we have initiated. Some of them have been completed, and to complete the remaining works, we require additional about 140 crores. I am sure Honorable Professor Narendra Jadhav will make a special provision for the country under this program. I assure you to see that all these ongoing programs are completed within these 2 years, provided this additional 140 crores has been sanctioned to my university, and appeal to you on behalf of my university fraternity to see that special sanction for 140 crores is being made to my university. I am sure you will not let down your hero, which is this university named after him. With this, friends, honorable delegates came from far off places. There may be shortcomings, no doubt. Kindly bear with us wherever possible and cooperate with us. Today, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I am sure you are going to deliberate upon the topic mentioned here and coming out with a fruitful result which can be passed on to the government authorities to consider. And once again, on behalf of my university, I extend a very, very warm welcome to all the distinguished delegates